And hello and good morning to some of you, good evening to other some of you, and good afternoon to me. I'm Matt, and this is way too windy to be outside actually. I don't know what's going on, there's barely any cloud outside, but the wind is absolutely manic. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek to what we're dealing with. Just look at that. This is insane. I hope you have a great day today. I have a great day because was it Postman was here and left me with a couple of items, and this is always a good start of the day. So there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about today, which will involve a smart door, which will also involve a couple of projects I'm working on, and obviously the items I've been sent. So, before I forget, I'm just gonna add one more link to my list because there is one new product that you should probably take a look at and see if you can, if you want it. Okay, got it. So I hope you're doing great. Hello, Hard Styler. Trier. Sorry, Trier. I can't see stuff. Hard Trier. Hello. How are you doing? So smart doors. For some time I've been toying with the idea of actually having a smart door. I don't have a smart door. I have a traditional door. You know, you do this and it opens and it closes, and pretty much this is all there is to it. However, I wanted to have a notification when the door is closed and locked, because open and doors like the door sensor is a pretty easy thing to implement. You probably don't need me to get that sorted with your home automation, but retrofitting a control that will let you check if the door is locked, this is probably something you would be interested in. And so that's a sneak peek that I'm going to have for you today, because the project is almost ready and I wanted to have a fancy intro, but the wind outside prevents me from doing so. What other things? I've got some items, and items are excited, and we're gonna go and unpack them in a second and see what's in there, and I'll tell you what my plans are in regards to these products. And if you like them, I'll give you a link so you could take a look at it. And lastly, we're gonna look at some 3D printing and a couple of things I've made, a couple of things, designs that I'm looking into it, and a massive overhaul of my 3D printer. It's gonna be a upgrade. Half done with the 3D printed parts and half with some online stuff I've ordered. So we're gonna be taking the Ender 3 to a new level and then run a test print against a traditional, like unmodified Ender 3 and see if it's worth it. I think that's going to be quite interesting. So that's probably more closer to the end of this month, because I'm still waiting for a couple of items to arrive. So I hope you've been having a good week so far. I certainly had a great week. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I had a job interview today, which was exciting. And what else? That's pretty much it. So let's get started with a post. So as my post camera, there's a desk camera. This is the stuff that I have got. So I've got a couple of things that I'm excited for. Basically 3 items that I have excited for. This one, and this one. And we're gonna start with the smallest item because I think I'm pretty much stoked for it. So the smallest item on here is called a Siduino Xiao. Xiao in Chinese means small. And you can tell this is small. This is how tiny it is. And to give you kind of a cute look, I have an autofocus set up, so this is it. And what it is a clone of Arduino, but there's a small twist on it. So let me just get the Arduino Nano for you so you can get a kind of scale. Do I have an Arduino Nano to spare? Yes, I do. So we will be able to compare it. So let me open a spare Arduino for you. So these two things are basically very similar in terms of what they can do. The performance-wise, obviously there are going to be some differences, but there's a couple of things that I'm really, really stoked for. So first of all, it's the size. Just look at the size difference, and you can appreciate how small it is. Now, this, let me just come on, focus. Oh, the camera is not working today. Come on, will you focus? Don't know why this just doesn't. Do I have yeah, I have a focus enabled, so it's just being lazy. So Now that's the one. Okay, so you see it in here. There's a couple of stickers to actually explain the I/O, and I'm going to use one of them just to showcase. I think this is the most readable one. Is actually this one. I like the color of it. So the I/O in there is like this, I guess. So now you'll be able to, as soon as I can focus this thing, come on. There you go. You can appreciate the I/O. So what we've got in here is the I2 IC squared, UART, analog and digital pins, and we have it's 10 pins in total we can utilize, and it is connecting via USB Type-C. So finally someone's listening to me. It's 2020 and everything that is not powered by USB Type-C is just annoying. Hello Tracy, how are you doing? Very interested in the Ender 3 modes, hoping to get one of them used this summer. Having a 3D printer is absolute bliss. I could not recommend it enough. It's a marvel. So this is the first thing. It comes in a small bag. There's a couple of replacement stickers if you want a different color pattern, and let's put it on the screen for you. So this is the no, this is not the one. This is the this is not the one. I'm spoiling it. So this is the one. It costs $4, so it's slightly more expensive than Arduino Nano, and it's available through Seeed Studio. And let's take a look at the key features. So we have ARM Cortex M0, 48 megahertz I can't pronounce things today. What's happening? Microcontroller. 250 kilobytes of RAM, and we have that's your flash. Compatible with Arduino IDE, so you will be able to use your IDE to program it. And you've got 11 pins. There was one for power, so I've skipped it. 10 of them have a capability of PWM signal, one analog to digital to analog converter, and the usual interfaces that let you expand this board even further. But the factor of it is absolutely amazing. I love it. And at the back I'll show you there's a pins to actually link the I need to switch the camera for you. Let's go. So at the back, come on, focus. Oh, this webcam today is sleeping. So at the back of the board you'll see that in here you have a voltage in and ground, so you can connect it directly in your project. You don't have to use the USB to power this board. So this is exciting. It's much smaller and I'm looking forward to play with this. I don't have a use type in mind yet, but I'm definitely gonna play with this and figure out what I can use it, and it's small enough to go pretty much everywhere. Now you can get Arduino Nanos which are slightly smaller than this, but it's good to have an alternative, and I definitely welcome a USB Type-C, which is great because at some point we're finally going to move to USB Type-C and we don't have to worry about all the connectors, which is oof. So that's the first thing on my list, and I'll give you a nice link so you would be able to take a look yourself. So that's the shell, the Arduino shell, and yeah, the shipping time for me was I'd say about, I think, 2 weeks, maybe a little bit over 2 weeks, so it's not bad. And yeah, I'm definitely loving this small bit of kit. Next up we're just going to go through a not this camera, this one. So we're going to go and I have one more board for my Docker-B setup. So I've talked before about boards like this. So I have a Docker-Pi with relays, and I was talking about the one that provides you with power and cooling, and now I have a sensor board which is a very similar one, and this sensor board is it's here. I'm gonna provide you with a link. So this is the shell, and now the link. This is for the sensor hub. Docker-Pi sensor hub. And let's take a closer look at where it is and how it looks like. So let's go in here. So it comes in a box like this. Let's you and Nano go to the Nano box, and you can go to the Nano box as well. And let's put it on the shelf. So, obviously, if you're gonna have any questions, as usual, just ask. So we have instructions in the box. We have a thermocouple, so we can probe temperature elsewhere. The cable, probably about a meter long. Let's have a look. I only have the look what's inside, and then I decided to run the stream because why not? So the cable is, yeah, it's about a meter long. And it has a standard connector, and the board itself, and some studs. So I actually have a handle. Yeah. So this is one of the boards, a little bit dusty. This is one of the boards meant to go on top of it, but it doesn't have to because it has a 12 volts power through, but it doesn't use that to power this board, so you can just stack it on top of the Raspberry Pi directly. But if you have a board like this, you can stack it one on top of another, and they go together like this. So when you take a look, there's one connector here, and obviously your standard GPIO header on this side. So on the board itself there is an array of sensors, and we have obviously thermal infrared sensor, air pressure, temperature and humidity, light sensor, external thermometer, detects human detection. So we have an infrared human detection as well as movement. And if I'm correct, this is using I2C. If I'm correct, yes, it is. So I2C protocol to communicate. The register is mapped for you, so you would know in what register address the data from which sensor. I've played with this before, and it's fairly easy to program, whether you use Python or the libraries. So that is the board. Do I have any ranges on the sensor? Let's have a look online and see what ranges I could find for this. So let's oops, wrong screen. I need to name them better. Okay, so the temperature sensor is on board is -20 to +60. That's quite respectable, and the probe is -40 to 80. So that's awesome. And what else we have? Humidity detection sensor 20 to 95. That's all right. Detection in luxes up to 1,800. Standard 300 pascals to 1,100 hectopascals, so that's a nice range. Biopsy test, what is this? Maximum detection angle of 100. That's something I'll probably have to. Is that a translation issue? Should we Google it? Let's have a look. Because this is not what I associate a biopsy test with. Yeah, that's why I thought the translation means. Okay, definitely I'm not going to get stabbed by any of the GPIOs. So I don't know. Maybe there is like a secret pin that you get stabbed with and provides you with a blood analysis. I don't think so, but definitely gonna play with it and make a station with a Node-RED controller, so you could get the information straight into some maybe a Grafana type interface. So it will be fun and very flashy. So that's to add to do. What else we have? We can stack other boards, and independent mainboard hardware is required. Okay, so we've got I2C support. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we're quite happy with this, and the price for this is $17. So it's actually reasonable when you think about it. The average, like a temperature sensor, this is the HD22 instead of the HD11. The HD11 is about £2 or £3. So the HD22 is about, I think, £5. So you add the PR, and you're definitely going to have money's worth if you just want to play with it. Obviously there is that limitation that all the sensors are bunched together, and if you want them all over the place, it might be not ideal. So that's your sensor board. Next up, what we have next up is, did I paste the link? I did. So next up is funds. I have some pretty weird looking funds, and I figure out, you know what, I have a couple of funds already tested with different Raspberry Pis, and I have a new Raspberry Pi. Well, it's not new. I got myself a couple of Raspberry Pi 4 boards. So this is a 4 gig version, another 4 gig version, which gonna be used in my NAS build. I was postponing this for ages. And there is a 2 gig version which I'm going to test and see if it's good enough for Node-RED. It's pretty sure it's good enough to have 2 gigs for Node-RED for the server, but I just wanted to make sure, and now I can compare. And since the 1 gigabyte version was discontinued and no longer is going to be in production, then the base model is now the 2 gig one, which makes sense, to be honest. So one of them is going to end up with a sensor hardware, definitely. And let's go and take a look at the desk cam. This is the one. Yeah, let's take a look and open the desk cam. This is the desk cam. Let's open the last parcel, which is that ultimate cooling fun kit. Okay, like I wonder if it's going to beat my ultimate cooling experience, which is a cooling tower. It's pretty impressive and crazy. Most of the time doesn't even run. This is my development Raspberry Pi server. So let's open this up. There is a copper plate. There is a sticker. And there is a thermal sticker. And there is a cooler itself. So size-wise, it's actually quite tiny. If you take a look at the power board cooling, which is like this, see those are. I think I have a measurement tool in here. Let me just open my Majestic toolbox. Actually, I could look at online, but you know, it's more fun if you do it the traditional. You can get calipers, and I'll tell you. Yeah, this is 25mm fan. This is obviously 30. And this one in here, I believe it's 40. Yeah, this is 40. So it's the smallest one. We get 2 of them, and they actually don't have any mounting brackets. So if you take a look at these, they're just 2. Come on, focus. You. Okay, so there are 2 small fans, and they just they have no PWM controls. I can build the PWM controls like I did for this one. So this is something definitely it's going to be a project. So I'm going to make a small PCB and connect it and control the speed of this. And they just glue, they just stick to your board. So let's it's kind of, so it goes in here. So it covers this this IC and this IC. So it goes like kind of like this. So I don't think it's going to be supported on. You can glue it like this. I don't think that's going to be supported on the Raspberry Pi 4, which we're going to take a Raspberry Pi 4 and see. Yeah, it doesn't even fit. So you can't fit it. You would have to cut them in half if you would like this, but no, it doesn't even fit. That's a 2 gig version. That's a 4 gig version. Let's try it on a 2 gig version. No, you can't even fit it because of the power over Ethernet. So that's going to be definitely only for Raspberry Pi 3 and 2. I have still a couple of them, and I think I'm going to end up running this on my Raspberry Pi, which runs Octoprint server. So it's going to go there inside the custom enclosure, because once I overhaul the design, the Raspberry Pi is going to be in the same compartment as my main board, and I want to obviously keep that cooled. So that's the plan for this. So this is at $13, and I'm gonna give you a link. So this is the link here, and that's the ultimate fun, and that's RP2/3, just to make sure. Okay, so what else? I promised you a sneak peek into a smart door. So who wants to have a smart door? And by smart door, I don't mean a door that talks to people. I just mean a sensors on the door that are able to tell you stuff. And I did this, and I'm so happy. Yes, I spent yesterday afternoon actually toying with my front door. It's not just a normal door. And now let's before we jump into it, let's do a bit of a trickery. So let's go to this screen, and let's enable this, and go on. Let's do this. Hey Google, is my door locked?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Is my door locked?
Door is locked.
I don't know if you could hear this, but let's try it on here. Is my door locked?
Door is locked.
So as you can see, it works with Google, it works with Amazon Echo, and it works with everything you want because it's Node-RED basically. But it's already integrations there. All I need is to do reminders because reminders are not complete yet. And I have a status in here of the contacts that will tell me the status of the door and status of the lock itself. Raspberry Pi 4.1 discontinued, and if so, and why. The 1 gigabyte, I don't think it's gonna come back, and this is my personal opinion. It's not backed up by anything. I think the difference in memory price isn't that big between 1 gigabyte and 2 gigabytes, and it just makes sense. If if you're just going to add a couple of cents to production, it just makes sense to order more and offset that difference so you don't have multiple SKUs. They're not going to make Raspberry Pi 3s anymore. They're going to focus on the Raspberry Pi 4. We might get a Raspberry Pi 4 in A format, so the small square one, like I've got one of those in here in this format. And maybe there's going to be another edition of a Raspberry Pi 0 version, but I don't think we're going to see them producing Raspberry Pi 3 series unless they have stock of anything like components to go through to complete the matches. Once they run out of whatever they shelved for Raspberry Pi 3s and they've produced this, that's going to be it. Then we're going to maybe transition to Raspberry Pi 4, because other than the power usage, I don't think there is any benefit of actually going on Raspberry Pi 3. So that's good because we're moving forward. There is already a redesigned version of Raspberry Pi 4 which fixes the issue they had with a USB Type-C connector. Every time I'm buying a USB Type-C connector with them, because there's never enough of them, so I'm not that personally bothered. But yeah, it is definitely transition. So the new boards. I've not seen the revision because let me have a look. Let me just show you this, guys. I bought these boards about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, when they announced it. And if you have a look, I don't see any. I don't see any revisions right now on it. The only way to recognize it is at the, I think was it at the back. Oh, actually, hold on a second. If you can see, I might have a new revision on the Raspberry Pi 4, because first of all, there's this that is missing in here, and there was another one, a resistor, I think, if I remember, was added near the ports, but I've run on all of my boards and I could not see it. Yeah, definitely. See, this is the Raspberry Pi 4 4 gig design, and this is the Raspberry Pi for the new design. So I managed to get a new design, revised design, and there is no information on the board itself as to revision, but this is missing from my original board in here. Can I focus this better? Come on. Oh, Logitech, you can do it. There you go. Now I have to move it closer, so watch this space carefully. This is these are the same boards, both are Raspberry Pi 4 4 gig versions. So this is the revised edition, and I don't see any marks that would state this clearly. Yeah, it doesn't give you a board revision, so I guess you'd have to just visually inspect your board and hope for the best. But since 2 weeks ago I got a revised edition already, so there's a big chance that if you're going to buy a new Raspberry Pi, they're going to fix all the issues with the latest batches. I don't know how quickly they responded to changes and how many Raspberry Pi were. Oh, the transistor was at the edge of the old model. There were two. There were two. Let me double check it. Yeah, the other one is there. Oh yeah, there is a one. You're right. I can see it now. So it's definitely revised board. I don't know if this is the latest one because I've not seen that extra resistor near the USB. But this is a revised design because let me just get I've not even. Let me just get you close up. So as Bolly pointed out, that transistor it's here on this board here apparently. So, but this is a slightly different design. So definitely they work on the revisions, and soon we should see only just the fixed models. That I don't know how many thousands or millions of pieces they produced with all the design, which it wasn't that big of an issue to be honest. And not personally to me, I don't have a single charger I've tested that wouldn't work. But then again, every time I would just get a charger with it because I'm gonna need a power supply anyway, and a USB charger for £8 isn't exactly expensive. So yeah, it's a fixed cable. I'll try to have a connectable cable instead, but it's not a bad idea. So going back to my smart door, I'm able to query it, and it does a couple of things. It discovers when the door is locked, obviously. It discovers when the door is closed and issues you alarms. So let me get this screen for you, and let me get rid of the mobile because we don't need it anymore. So it can tell when, and it's not visible, which is nice. I only have one door contact, which is like an alarm in a corner. Do I have any pictures? Let me see if I have any pictures to show you. Oh, that's, I'm not sure if that's gonna work. Oh, that should work, I think. So you're in luck, you're gonna get a sneak peek, guys. So, if you see in here, this is me testing the lock right now. There is a bit of a magnet that uses the sensor. The sensor is tiny little bit, tiny, and it should last a couple of months with that. And this is how I'm able to detect this. And obviously there is a bit of logic that you can see on the screen, which I'm using to determine whether the doors are locked and the timeouts, because they're going to be alarms, it's going to be evening notifications, etc. So that's basically the plan for it. The total cost of it is about $15, maybe a little bit more depending where you're going to source your sensors, and you will be able to get automatic notification if you leave the door unlocked at your specific time. So you can configure this. And here I've got 2 minutes for the lock and the door for 10 minutes if you're just going to go outside and grab your shopping from a car or something like that. It won't bother your phone, and obviously as soon as you close the door it's fine. So this is something I'm writing the tutorial. I'll film most of the most of the tutorial as well. It's just kind of wanted to wrap everything up, but there's a little bit more explaining to do, and mobile notifications going to be here. No, sorry, yeah, that's here, mobile notifications, and there is notifications for every day in the evening. Your system will check if the door is locked, and if the door isn't locked, then your smart speaker will tell you that you need to lock the door. If it locked, it's not going to tell you anything. So that's a smart door. Now, I've mentioned another product I wanted to talk about, and this is this. Now, I know this is $4, and you can get that for about $2.50 on AliExpress if you Google it. But I would strongly recommend you to go with Etihad. And can I be a cheeky and generate you a affiliate link instead? I'll give you both. I'll be cheeky. So if you don't want to support me, use this. But if you do want to support me, I'm gonna generate a link for you that that will give you that give basically it adds information that you came through me, and they're gonna appreciate me a little bit more. So what I need to do is just get a link. Custom link to the page. Okay, I'm ready. I live in UK. Shall I hope it's shall. So if you want to support me, then this is the link. And why am I recommending this? Because ever since I posted my flashing guide, so it's quite successful video and a guide, and I'm gonna update this CC2531. I've got a lot of people complaining about the revision boards 1.0. So I've described how to do it without the CC debugger, how to do it in a simple way. I don't know why, but the flashing guide on the Zigbee thing on the Zigbee website, sorry, on what's it called? On the Zigbee to MQTT website is absolutely terrible, and they just hid that information that you can do it with the Raspberry Pi within 3 minutes, and they advise as a first method to go with. Is my YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will. My internet's acting up today, guys. Let me know if you have any problems. So anyway, where I'm heading with this. This is flashed. This, first of all, it has a 2.4 version, so this is the new version of the CC debugger, and it's flashed already with Zigbee to MQTT or the CC2531 ZNP Prod firmware, so you will be able just to play it with your Raspberry Pi, download install the software on the Raspberry Pi, and you can start. I'm glad I didn't butcher. I'm really terrible with names. So another thing I've got, is it here somewhere? Probably somewhere in my magical toolbox. Can I find this? Maybe. Yes. So another thing is, this is one of the things I got, and I kind of regret it in a way, but I'll try to make a video. This is a ConB2 stick, and I'm going to compare ConB2 stick and CC2531. Now I understand this is a commercial product, and this is kind of the CC. It's kind of like development product, so this is like £35 on Amazon, and it was actually like, it was painful when I paid for this, because I already have a working debugger, and it costed me pennies, but I want to run both of them and see if it's worth it. Now, if they pre-flash this and remove all that need for you for $4, honestly, just buy yourself 2 or 3 of them and you'll be happy. You're gonna spend only a couple of dollars, and it's already done. Just install the software on the Raspberry Pi, and this is the best thing you can do. I know services that will sell you Zigbee to CC2531 for about $10 or $12 pre-flashed. So having that for $4, and ITF guys, they send within like 2 weeks as well. So it's a decent deal. I'm gonna probably post about it a little bit more later today, because I only found out yesterday about it, and I wanted to confirm which version of the stick they have. So yeah, and it looks like gonna have a quick pick. No, it's exactly the same I've got, because I wasn't sure about the pins that are available in here, but I have exactly the same number of pins. So yeah, that's the thing. So about 3D printing now, guys. So I've been 3D printing some stuff. So first of all, I've 3D printed this one. I've designed it and 3D printed this one. So this is a successful design after iterations. Okay, let's make some space, and let's go into a close-up. So after some iteration, let's make some space. I've 3D printed myself a case for a screwdriver, and it's actually nice because you can check you can charge it, because it has a charging port. I would say a port, I don't know, access to the port, and you can check the status of your charged screwdriver, unlike with anything I found on the internet. It's magnetic, so it has 4 magnets in here that keep the case nicely slapped together. And there are 2 hinges that instead of 3D printed one, I went for those gold ones because they look nice. and it has a space for 39 bits. And this is why it looks kind of not perfect, but this is a silicone. This is just your regular bathroom silicone, and it introduces the grip. Before that, I could rotate this. I'll show you. This is something I found online. This is for my TS. You could rotate it like this, and it was really annoying for, especially if you wanted to align the screen. But if you just use your finger and drag the silicone, a bit of silicone on the plastic, it would stick, and it provides you with that extra grip that you need, and extra grip for these ones as well. So they're not very tight, but they're also easy to remove. So the first iteration of the box, it's here. It's very similar. I've made some mistakes in the Fusion 360 where in my design I didn't leave enough tolerance. You can see the design slightly different. Those are a little bit too tight for my liking. As you can see, this can rotate too easily, and when oh yeah, that's what happens when you close it and the button isn't here, and there is a gap in here. So I obviously didn't design this correctly. I must have missed on some measurements, and I ended up with this one being, the screwdriver being too big for my case. So that was like 14 hours of print or something, and it was really annoying. And also I've learned another thing. If you heat up magnets, they lose magnetic properties. And 8 small magnets like this, I bought more of them, like that tiny magnets. Not enough to hold the case either. So since then I've improved and I've introduced these magnets, and they kind of just slot inside in here, and they are perfect. They're flat, 20 by 10, ideal for stuff like that. So overall, I'm quite happy with the design. I'm doing stuff like that mostly to train myself before more complicated things, because I want to learn 3D design and how to create stuff, and I found that making enclosures, it's a perfect way to learn new stuff step by step, because they're not very complicated and you get to learn specific things. So my next project is actually, this is something I downloaded from internet, and this is for my TS80, and it's a very nice case in terms of you know, how small it is. But I thought I'm going to redesign this and make one that you can use as a soldering stand as well, because when you take your soldering iron, you just end up with the case, and you know, you can't. This is not thermal plastic or anything. You'll melt as soon as you put 60 degrees on it. So I want to design one with a PLA that has a capability of holding your soldering iron, so you could rest it, and you know, so you can actually be useful not just for transport. I like the expand on the design and put in my own twist on it. So that's the plan. Other than that, this is a very neat case, and it gives a very small profile. I'm not a big fan of the latch. I had to heat up the plastic. I kind of bent it because the original design was slightly off, in my opinion, and it made it very difficult to close and open it. But the case is printed as one, and the hinges are 3D printed. They're okay. I mean, like, to be honest, I prefer mine kind of give you that toolbox style rather than this. But that's my thing. Another thing I've printed out is let me just go through it. Another thing I've printed out is this. This is actually bonkers. And now I had a little bit of problems with tolerances. I would leave a little bit more tolerances in here, but it's a very fine spool holder, and it's gonna, excuse me, let me just have some coffee. Okay, let me just go through questions quickly. I've bought one, but no Zigbee device. There's plenty of cheap Zigbees. The Zigbees aren't expensive, and you can have something like this. What will I find this? Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you can get something like this. And this is a Zigbee. So if you have your this is called a NRF 518822. So let me just type it. RF, and there's a 51822. So these ones are dev boards. They come with Bluetooth and Zigbee, so you can use them to program them with whatever you want. I think you can use Arduino IDE to program them as well, and you can make anything out of them. You don't have to buy sensors. Like, those IKEA buttons or Agera stuff that I'm having. You can make your own electronics, and I think they were like five or £4 each, which were quite good. So I'm definitely gonna have a sensor or something based on that, and once I get a decent enough idea. But we were having, yeah, I'm making a collection for my 3D printer, so I could have a list of all the upgrades I'm gonna have. We're gonna print it out. So I'm gonna talk. Every item's gonna have a paragraph with an explanation what I did and why, and it's gonna be down to you if you want to go for that path upgrade and do this and how the part performed. And then at the end of the, I'm gonna go to Hackspace. They have 3 and the printers, and we're gonna run my upgraded version versus the stock version and see if it makes sense to upgrade. And I'll try to get a higher model, like a better model from Creality as well, at least for testing, so I could have the same print run on upgraded and the 3, and then I'm gonna calculate how much money kind of that upgrade cost, and try to pitch the same that printer against the printer which is priced in a similar bracket, and see if it's worth spending that money on upgrade, or whether you should just put it on the side and then maybe upgrade and buy a different printer. So this is an interesting article. I think you're going to be interested in that, especially if you're looking into upgrading your own printers and thinking whether it's worth it. So this is a pretty cool spool holder. Like I said, I had to spend some time with sandpaper to make sure everything fits together. I think the clearances on that weren't enough, and there's a couple of comments highlighting this, so I'm not the only one. But that's down to how well you calibrated your printer as well. And we went through this, and that was the TS80 mount I found online, which I printed out. So I figured, yeah, so that's pretty much everything I had to show off today. So if you have any questions, so where do I buy my Raspberry Pis? It's a P-Hut. So this is where I buy my Pis. So that's the website I'm using for Raspberry Pis. It's they ship worldwide, but I think they based in UK. They have like a second-day delivery. I'm lucky because they make Raspberry Pis in UK, in Wales, if I remember correctly. So I have a next-day delivery. So whenever something's out, like a new product, I'm just rushing on the website, pressing the button, and it's the next day it's with me, so I can write about it. Oh. So there was something else I wanted to talk to you about. Did I mention Sonoff, the Shelleys? On my last live stream, I think I've mentioned Shelleys. I'm in Ireland. Oh, so it shouldn't be a problem. They should ship to Ireland pretty quickly. So yeah, I've got already butchered a socket. I'm going to be playing with that as well, because I've got a couple of Shelly devices, and I'll be learning what you can do with a Shelly with a power meter, and there is another Shelly 2.5 which I'm going to stack against the older version of Shelly and compare it with what's it called, Sonoff Mini, see how much the design improved and if it's worth it. And there was something else. Where was it? Should I go through? Oh! Yes, I remember now. So, if I'm just going to enable my mobile phone again. Hello, mobile phone. So, I've been playing with a couple of things lately, including my fingertips. So, right now, if I'm going to unlock, you see the right thumb. I use this is the right thumb to unlock my phone, and right now I can identify which what they call it, which fingers I'm using to unlock. And this is not a secret, obviously. This is Logcat, and Jaudias had a tutorial on how to enable this, but I've got a really cool thing. Like, watch what happens if I'm gonna take a Chrome, put the Chrome on the window, and now it's on the desktop, I'm going to use this finger to unlock it. Ta-da! I no longer have access to Chrome. The Chrome is nowhere to be seen in here. So to restore the Chrome, I'll have to do a right thumb. Sorry, left thumb. I got confused. So I've used this thumb to unlock it, and if you can, come on, if you can see, the Chrome is available now. It won't be restored on the home screen, but there's also a nuke version. So if I'm gonna use this finger, it does something tragic. I'll show you. You might actually, hold on. No, I can't do it, because if I'm gonna start doing it, it's gonna kill my screen capturing. But basically what it does, it disables all the apps and leaves you with text messages and phone calls. So if someone's just gonna borrow my phone and says like, hey, can I borrow your phone because I want to make a call, you can just unlock it with one finger and you'll wipe your phone clean. They won't be able to access any apps. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I think I'm not over. Bear with me one moment, please. Okay, situation averted. I got a sudden tickle in my throat. So what it does, it will wipe your screen clean, and then you can restore it with using just the right thumb. So that's how it works, and this is something I'm going to be talking about. And also, can I actually, I can do like a bypass to it. Bear in mind that just for privacy issues, because I've got a couple of notifications, going to disable this. And I'm just going to open the task. Okay, I can now do it for you. So as you can see, this is what it does. But I have a need to link my left pointer to something else, which is a different task, and I want to link it to a left pointer. And now, if you look at, oh, that's my notification. Hello. If you look at notifications I have, and there's no custom notifications right now in here. So what's gonna happen if I unlock the phone? Let's say this finger is, and this is my right thumb, right pointer. So if I'm gonna use this one to unlock my phone, it will, come on, it's an awkward angle. So it will unlock it. There's nothing really special about it, right? So let's lock the phone again. And now if I lock the phone and use this finger to unlock it, if I scroll down, you'll see I have a Tasker phone security. Now this will tell me that your phone has been unlocked by a stranger one time since you checked your phone, which means I can actually tell when someone enrolled. So let's say your colleague or someone that has access to your phone unlocked the phone with their own fingerprint. So that way you can monitor if your, I don't know, a partner or someone is secretly checking on your phone when you're not looking. So a bit of a fun I have with the fingerprints and the things I can do. I have a tutorial about that, but back in then it used fingerprint reader plugin, which only could detect whether you scanned it successfully or not. It wouldn't detect which finger was it. Now it's still a bit more robust and we can play with it quite a lot. So that's another tutorials coming up quite soon. And I think I'm done with everything. So if you guys have any questions, I'm open for another like 10 minutes to kind of answer any questions you might have, whether it's an Node-RED or other stuff. But yeah, I'm happy to give you a bit of a help. What else? Oh, there's a sneak peek to this, and that's not mine, and this is mine. Yeah, this is mine, where you can use this. So this is Symfonisk controller, so it's a rotary encoder and a link to my Amazon Echo, so we can try it out actually if you want. So let me just authorize it. I need to take my authorization elsewhere. So I just needed to authorize the node in here. So now I'm ready. So when I click on it, it will start a playback. At least I hope.
Music resumed.
Okay, let's not get a copyright.
Music stopped.
So you have a full volume control and you have a skip, go back with this button. And the fun part is you can use it with your excuse me, Amazon Echo setup. And with a different control, I'll be actually experimenting with how to send that audio to a connected Bluetooth speaker. So if you have a connected Bluetooth speaker elsewhere and you use, I'm going to use definitely this one, which is IKEA remote. This one. So there'll be option to connect first and then control playback, because unfortunately this is needed. Otherwise, it is very difficult to work with this structure if you have just one button and you have to connect, disconnect, control playback, skip music, go back. So you've got pause play as well. So you have like 7 commands binded to a single button. It's too much, and it's just not reliable enough. I almost got it there, but there's not enough feedback from Amazon Echo to make it work with a single button. And if I have more buttons, then I'll be able to, you know, just cast it to Bluetooth audio, play the music, and I'm happy. And then when I finish, just disconnect it, and all the audio and routing is gonna go back to your original Amazon Echo device. So that's going to be quite fun, especially that I have a stereo in my bedroom and I'll be able to play the music there with a click of the button. So what I'm going to do next is probably finish my Node-RED, because I have notifications needed for the smart door. And updates. There was a catchy title about the coronavirus and stuff. So I'm not ill. No one else is. My work issued a warning that some of the people's gonna go on work from home mode. I'm not included. I still have to go 120 miles to get to work. So I'll be there. And but I know my in-laws are in quarantine because for the safety precautions. So we monitor them on a daily basis and make sure that they're okay. But yeah, it's interesting what's happening around the world, especially when you monitor. But like, this is a strain that we can monitor. I don't like the panic and the media boom surrounded and misinformation, but I think it's a very valuable lesson to us. We have an stream or a disease, infectious disease that spreads across the countries right now, and it's not very deadly. Like, all things considered, coronavirus it's not considered very deadly. And it has casualties, which usually are people that are vulnerable or old, which is obviously sad to see, but it's not. It gives us an insight to how to act if we ever encounter something we can't really fight. Because we're gonna defeat this virus in a couple of weeks, and it's gonna reach its peak, then it's gonna be a drop off, the spread will stop, and that's it, it's done. And by that next time it's around, we're probably gonna have a vaccine for it. But if we ever had something that is similarly contagious and it's stronger and has a much bigger death ratio, then it's interesting to see how this disease spreads, and we better learn from our past mistakes and try to figure out all the solutions to combat this, and see how the public responds to certain things, how successful we're quarantines and stuff like that. So that is definitely something that's all governments and countries should take in consideration on how to prepare for the next one, which will happen, unfortunately, because that's how biology works, and sooner or later we're gonna have another strain that is difficult to beat. How did you do STT when you ask if the door is open with the Google Assistant? So I'm using Nora, so I've talked about in here. Let's jump into my website. Gbridge. Oh, Gbridge shutting down soon, guys, so be sure Bridge, no bright. Bridge. So we have a couple of alternatives since GBridge is going away. Because I'm lazy, I'm using Nora. Nora is this Node-RED Nora, and it's very easy to use. They say they're gonna have some problems in terms of how many accounts they can have. I hope they're gonna start charging soon, and that's enabled them to go over than 2K requests, so active users. But it's very easy to use, and in this case, I'll show you here. Because I have a status as true or false in a contact. So this is my contact status here, true or false, for each sensor. I'm basically sending this to update my Google. So all I need to is just if the door is locked and the lock is locked, I'm sending payload as true. And if any of them is false, then I'm sending a warning. And every time something changes, so I either open the door or change the lock, that information is updated and sent to Nora. Nora then updates Google Home, and Google Home is aware of the last. I didn't ask you. Hold on, my phone is trying to speak to me. And Google Home system is aware of the last state, so this way it knows whether the door is open or closed. Now, there is a limitation to this coming from the both Amazon Echo and Google Assistant, where you can monitor a smart lock, you cannot monitor the door state. So smart lock interface will tell you, oh, I understand the lock and unlock, but I don't understand the door is open. So it doesn't have the ability to comprehend that the door is open. It only has the ability to tell whether the lock is turned or not. And so I use the combined policy. So if the door is locked, obviously I assume the door is closed. And if the door is open, the lock obviously is unlocked. So I will assume that at the same time both facts are correct, that the door is open and the lock is unlocked. So that's how it works, and then all I have to do is just submit true or false to a lock status. And the same goes for Alexa. I'm still using the Alexa Node-RED skill, and which is very reliable and easy to use. The difference is I just have to have a custom response instead, but I'm pretty much sending unlock or lock status in the same context, and Alexa will know. Now Alexa is in a different server right now, so I could ask it, but it won't give me an answer because it's not responding back, because I have a separate server for staging and separate server for development, because I ran into issues when I would destroy my whole automation because I did a mistake in my programming and then something went wrong. And yeah, you want to have a backup if you're working on the development part of it, and it's a wise way to do stuff. So now I know it works because I've tested it, but until it's 100% ready, I'm not going to shift this to my home setup, because there is no need. I know it's working, I've tested it, so until I finish the rest of it, it's gonna stay on my smart sensor. With Google Home, I was able to link this because I'm currently not using Google Home for anything really, so I don't care if it's linked to the staging server or not. I just wanted to test it out. So that's how it works, basically. But the tutorial's coming up soon. There is a hardware modification you have to do. It's going to describe this, and obviously going to give you an insight into how to program this in Node-RED. And then, if you ever leave the home and leave the door unlocked, which I'm really good at doing, it will tell you within like 1 to 2 minutes that you left the door unlocked, and go back and lock the door, you bastard. Anything else I have in here? We talked about Smart Switch, I've talked about it. I've got a couple of smaller projects. Push notifications from Node-RED. It's gonna go through probably Join, because it's the easiest way for you. I could go with my auto notifications setup, so I can give you here. Perfect auto notifications. So if you go to this beautiful link, there's another thing you can do. and you will be what happens is if you use Tasker, I would recommend you to use Tasker, by the way, if you Android phone. If it's not Android phone, then I give up. You do whatever you want. But if you use an Android phone, just get Tasker, get auto notification, and this is a template. So basically this template will ask you to provide all those variables in here in a JSON file. So basically you're gonna send something like where is it, something like this, and all you have to do is just, I know it looks complicated, but you just have to just, you know, title, just name the title of your notification, name the text of your notification, add the URL, so the icon. So it's straightforward. And you paste this template and you send that as an HTTP request, and then it gets delivered in a nicely formatted message like in here on this picture. So you have your notification like this, and I can change it within seconds saying, oh, smart door, you left your door open, click OK to dismiss and add the alarm. That's it. Okay, if we set with Tasker to Arduino, does it not open? I've not if I'm honest, I've not used Auto Arduino. I think I've connected once in my entire Tasker experience, but I've not used it, and I didn't really have a need, because what I do is, if it's a project that requires connected brains, I'll use ESP. If it's a project that requires brains, like faster brains, I'll use Raspberry Pi. And if it's a project that requires some electronics but doesn't have to talk anywhere else, like my light panels that I'm working on, then I use Arduino, and it doesn't have to be connected. So I never actually talked to Arduino, even though I have I have two of these bad boys. Those are Arduino MKR 1000, and those are Wi-Fi connected, so they have like a parasite Wi-Fi on top, and they talk to the network. I've not used them, to be honest. Well, they basically work like ESPs with slightly more focus on, you know, electronic side of things. I think Arduino make a little bit more expensive. MKR 1000. Let's see how much they're coming for nowadays. 26. Yeah, so they're slightly more expensive, but they have the battery inputs and internet, and it's a proper microcontroller. You could get away with using ESP32, which, yeah, you could. It has enough pins to kind of get you where you want. Both will have their own limitations. Obviously, if you use Arduino stuff, you come with a massive community support, which is always a good way if you're not sure where to start, because if you're going to start with something obscure that no one else is using, unless you're going to know the environment, so you kind of shove yourself in a foot there, because, you know, you are on your own. If you're using something that has a massive community behind it, there is a big chance that whatever question you have, someone else asked this question before, and you can, based on that answer, figure out your way forward. So that's your thing. And Auto Arduino, like I said, I've not used it before. Can't really help you. It's one of those things that I always keep promising I will get back to it, but it's a hobby, and you know, guys, it's like, if I'm gonna remove 50-hour working week from my week, it's suddenly little time to play. So my list of time, like, I can kind of share you a couple of ideas. Like, this is my notebook, and it's neglected a little bit, but yeah, this is that was a alarm synchronization project. The cross is completed, it's already posted. Now these aren't. Those are 3 projects here. I'm working on our pixel panels that are behind me. I can show you in a second. This is IKEA. That's obviously needs to do it as well. There's a fingerprint. Oh, see, we're working on that. I'll show you this one. Fingerprint plus lock cut disable apps. That's the one. That's the one I can show you the demo off. It's nearly done. Oh, Zigbee battery notification. We've done that, guys. I'm gonna take a pen and cross it out just for you because I've done this. I forgot to cross it out. So Zigbee battery notifications, no more. It's a project completed. Forgot to cross it out. What else we have? Door notifications. Ooh, door notifications. Yeah, door notifications are here. Nearly there. Nearly there. So yeah, so that's my notepad, and I have like project after project after project after project, and all I have to do is just allocate the time, find the time, and in between, make sure I have enough interesting reviews to also pay for the server costs. So you could use my links for all exciting purchases, and that way I can make £50 extra. Yes. So yeah. Also, what else do I have? I think this is pretty much everything I have. Like, I'm just looking around, thinking of. Oh, I don't know if you're interested, but there are two. Can I connect them so you could see it? Do I have a cable somewhere here? I've seen a USB Type-C cable somewhere here. Not so. Oh, there it is. So. My USB hub died recently. So which one was it? I have 3 of them. It's neither of them. Actually, what's the third one? Come on. Don't hide from me. Ah, that's the one. So, I have this one, which is... it's USB Type-C based. It's a ESP32 with a screen. Where's the screen? Come on. Huh? Ah, there we go. There is a screen. It's a color screen. It's quite good resolution. It's a good refresh rate. So I'm kind of thinking about like a mini widget that will tell me when someone mentions me on the Twitter, and they'll be posted on top of my screen. So I was thinking, but I also have a version for USB type, sorry, micro USB. So you need to change the cable. Yep, master cable. So I have a version for this which supports battery, and it has lots of pins in here. It's also ESP 32, and it has a support for SD card maybe, or yeah, I think that's SD card, and the battery. So let's try it out. There's 3 buttons and a speaker as well, so you can make some noise. So I'll start drawing something, I guess. Yeah, it's like a cube. I don't think that any buttons are mapped. No. So that's another thing I can kind of use for something. That's a cool thing. And there's a third one, more classical one, which I think got chipped. That someone from Hackspace donated this for me to play. I don't even know if it works, to be honest. If it's... oh, there's a hello world. And some line of text. There's a couple of designs that I'm trying to do with Fusion 360. One of them, should I show you? If I'm gonna show you, then I have to do it. And this is the... It's gonna wait, because it's like, you probably don't know this, but I'm a big Kerbal space program fan. So I absolutely adore this game. I spent like 400 hours playing it. So I watched this Kerbal Space Program 2 trailer, and absolutely love the cinematics of it, and that gave me an idea. You know how I did this, which is a... come here. So this is a figurine of Iron Man, and I got it from a friend, and it was all gold, so I painted it to a nicer standard. I don't know if it works right now. I don't think it's gonna connect because I've not connected it for a while, but let's have a look. It is connected via this ugly cable to a USB, sorry, micro, what is it called? ESP 8266 inside. Oh, it blinks here. can you blink it again, please? Don't know if you captured. Oh, it blinks. So you can use different colors and different frequency of blinks to not get notified about your notifications, emails, text messages, etc., etc. Basically. So while I didn't do any design for it other than painting and actually just fitting the ESP inside and arranging LED, I have this idea that I will design a Kerbal. Because online I've not seen a single decent Kerbal model, and one of the reasons I'm doing all the modeling with the cases and stuff like that is to learn Fusion 360 to be able to do a 3D printed model of Kerbal, which is going to be about that big. And because I have access to a 3D printer and vacuum forming machine and a couple of other tools that usually you don't get an access to, I'm going to have a Kerbal with fully functional helmet that you can open and close and have lights on it and highlight. Oh, my screen went black. Oh, hold on, there's some static. Okay, I'm back. With lights, so the normal Kerbal has white lights in here, like you would go in a sci-fi, and you can have in here inside of his helmet like highlights that you can highlight his face, and then the face is gonna be modular. Helmet can be removable, and you're gonna have maybe that big figurine that is connected online, and you'll be able to maybe not control the figurine because it's not going to be a robot, but it's going to be, you'll be able to customize the lights and control the lights, etc. So that's kind of my challenge. I want to do it something like this, but obviously without cables, running on battery, maybe Zigbee mode, and it's going to be Kerbal themed and run into, kind of want to create this or have it finished when the Kerbal 2 is out. That's something I wanted to do because reasons. I think a video about creating a simple button with the Zigbee short connected to the MQTT not red would be awesome, not really anything else like that. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I want to use Zigbee for the Kerbal program, because it's going to be then operating on a CR battery. Those are CRs. There's actually very nice CR holder I found on Thingiverse and I printed out. It's slightly warped because reasons, but it works, and it keeps the old batteries without touching each other, and they're not going to discharge. So yeah, it's definitely something I was thinking to do with Zigbee based, and then I can control this based on Zigbee and send some data. I can maybe include like a temperature sensor and a light sensor or something, and that way you're gonna have a prop that also provides you IoT data. That's actually not a bad idea. I need to add this to remember, because I'm gonna have enough volume to add sensors. So for example, the jetpack at the back will have a sensors. So I'll send you, I don't know if you like Kerbal Space Program, but I'll send you a trailer. Trailer is amazing. I'm not going to watch it here. But Trailer is amazing, and it's a really cool game, and you learn a lot by doing this. Only ESP64 custom Wi-Fi hardware, but not the basic hardware, so it's really nothing. I know, and that's a excuse me, also scary bit, because then I have to figure out everything myself, which gets difficult at times. I'm a hobbyist. I don't know a lot of things. I learn things, I spend a lot of time researching things, and then once I know this, I publish stuff that I know I discovered in the process. Excuse me. So believe me or not, I don't know all the answers. Oh, all that talking I've not used to. I should be live streaming slightly more often because I'm not used to. So what our run time on the live stream, by the way? Do we have time in here somewhere? Good. 1 hour 13. Yeah, I've still got a little bit. So play the game a lot. Yeah, it's a good game. I've spent a lot of time with mods and like all the technical mods and all the robotic arms and some colonizations. It's fun. It's difficult as heck, but it's fun. So I don't have as much time anymore, but I definitely gonna get a space program too, and try to mock about a bit. And like I said, one of the appreciation is just designing that Kerbal, because the designs online are absolutely rubbish, and like I know very little about designing in 3D, in my opinion, But I looked at the designs and like, you know what, I can do better. And I'm not bragging. There's 10,000 people that probably could make it a lot better, but I don't think they would be using Fusion 360 for that.
Internet speed is 4 megabits per second out of 110 megabits per second. Looks like Virgin Media sucks again.
Yeah, that's what streaming does for you. So it was one more thing. Oh, panels! I've not got them out for this, but they finally working. So this thing waits for a couple of parts to arrive, but it's almost done. So I have 3 panels. Let me just try to they're not connected, right? Oh, they connected, damn it. Lots of cables. So if you noticed in my videos, I need proper lights. So I have these, and those are addressable lights, and I can decide about color, brightness, and etc. And I have 3 of them to kind of create a better lighting for my videos, because I've been missing that for a long time and I really wanted to have a little bit better setup. Unfortunately, this is like 2 by 2 room. It's a very tiny room. It's very hard to get anything fitted. So currently I'm waiting for some stuff to arrive so I could mount this on a properly. But I've tested it and tested the wiring, tested the Arduino, everything is working, so I'm ready to actually just add a couple of potentiometers. Okay, there's some, I guess that's gonna be a Russian. So let's test my Russian. Vyzdoravlivajte. It's been a while. Okay, I give up. I will use Google Translate. Well, I can read it. I don't think I came across this word. It's been a while. Believe me or not, I used to be recover. So it's gonna be Vyzdrovalite. Okay, that makes sense now. So this is probably just regular me speaking. It's not viral or anything. It's just me having a cough. So I'm not worried. Although I'm worried for all people that are not having just a cough, and I hope they're gonna be strong. So, I think we are done unless you've got any questions. So if there's more questions, I'll answer them. If not, I'll jump on the website and start typing in replies and typing in an article, because I'm 800 words into the smart door, and like I said, the wind outside kind of prevents me from shooting it outdoors right now, so I'm kind of limited to what I can do inside, and I'll think, because I had a plan how to film it and how to present this, but I'll see how much I can do, and maybe just reshoot the outdoor bits tomorrow in the morning.
I don't know how to set window to that setting.
Thank you, so helpful. Oh, my smart speakers like to weigh in from time to time. Okay, alright, thanks so much for all of you that actually joined me for this random live stream. I love the random live stream. I don't know if you do, but I hope I at least got you interested in some of the items that I showed you today. If you're looking for a smart door sensor, I don't think I'm gonna finish it today, because there's still pictures to be taken, and I still have to build a notification system before I can describe it, so it's gonna be probably for tomorrow. I could make fingerprints done, because it's nearly done, so maybe I'll do fingerprint today, because I could film it in the next hour, and it will be done by 7 p.m. And then I can spend the evening working on the door notifications. So yeah, I'll see the flow and see what works, because I'm going back to work tomorrow, so I only have a morning and then I have to drive to work, which is a problematic, and then I'm not going to be in for a couple of days, so I'm hoping to finish the smart door and finish the task fingerprint thing by tomorrow afternoon, so I could drive to work, and then I'm gonna publish one tomorrow and one 2 days later when I'm at work, so you won't wait 4 days and then I get back couple of days after, I'll start working on the next one. So usually I'm trying to have at least two projects or two articles a week. That's kind of my goal. I'm not always able to do it, but that's my goal, and I'd like to think that's all the people that support me on Patreon. They kind of hope they're getting their money's worth. Alright guys, I hope you're gonna have a fabulous time. Stay safe and stay healthy, and yeah, be creative and do stuff that you love, because that's what matters. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you pretty soon in the next video, so take care and bye!